Hi, I'm Clark Dennis Cundiff, and honored and privileged to be the pastor at Bay Lake United Methodist Church on 4300 Shore Drive. Coming to you this morning on October the 8th, the second Sunday in October of 2023. And as we continue in our study of the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. And last week we talked about how hurry is the enemy of the spiritual life. And it has a fascinating aspect that maybe I hadn't considered before. It's like we think following Jesus is just following the Ten Commandments, love God, love each other, the two greatest commandments, and turn the other cheek and go the extra mile. And yes, it's all of that. But if we just do that small piece, or just go to church on Sunday mornings and the rest of the week we live like the rest of the secular world, then we've kind of missed the boat. Because the suggestion is that if we want to be like Jesus, we have to have a lifestyle like Jesus. He talks about reading different biographies about people that he appreciates or want to learn from, or people he wants to learn what not to do from. And he says, if you want to be like someone, if you want to be like Jesus, then you do some of the habits they do. Maybe you get up early in the morning like John Wesley did. But you take on the lifestyle. And I got, okay, and I think that is, what is Jesus's lifestyle? He didn't hurry, right? And every day, was important, and he allowed time for interruptions. So he said, take on the lifestyle of Jesus. And that's what he said when he talks about my yoke is easy. It says, come to me all that are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And for a rabbi, a yoke was a way of interpreting the scriptures. It's also a way of living. The yoke was that wooden beam that yoked oxen together to pull a cart or pull the plow. So there was an easiness by using a yoke. And he's saying his yoke is easy. His way of handling the burdens of life will make it easier. Now, I love the way the Message interprets this. The other version of the scripture. He says, are you tired? Worn out? Burned out on religion? Come to me, Jesus says. Get away with me. You'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. So if I want to experience the life of Jesus, I have to adopt the lifestyle of Jesus. And if I'm doing that lifestyle of Jesus, if I'm praying, if I'm listening to God, if I'm spending time, and he suggests two of the most important ways that you can be like Jesus and practice what Jesus is silence and solitude. And that's a way to use this yoke to carry the heavy burdens of life, because Jesus says, my yoke is easy. It doesn't mean life will be easy, but following Jesus, adopting the lifestyle of Jesus. Yes, the Ten Commandments. Yes, the love God, love each other. That'll make it easier. So yeah, the two suggestions he says, be still and know that I am God, silence and solitude, right? Practicing silence and solitude is the idea that, especially when we're busy, is essential to a healthy spiritual life, to practice silence and solitude. And the more busy we are, the more we need to do this. And as Jesus said, incredible busy days, he always took time to be in silence and solitude, to go to a lonely place and to pray. Had that uninterrupted quiet time with God. And to incorporate a practice of intentionally doing this in our weekly routine. The hurried digital world that we live in, distraction is robbing us of the ability to be present to God, to other people, to all that's good, beautiful, and true in the world, and even to our own souls. A suggestion you can use these practice of silence and solitude to be more present. And Mark 1:35, in the morning while it's still dark, Jesus, got up and went to a deserted place there and prayed. After an incredibly busy day, what did Jesus do? Gets up early and goes pray. Mark 6:31, he says to the disciples, come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while. Jesus needed that time away, and a fair bit of it. So if Jesus needed that time away, so do I, so do we. So he says there's two different ways to look at silence. There's external silence, internal silence. External is to get in a place where there is no external noise. What is it, those chambers you can rent that's kind of takes away all the senses so you just can focus, but just find a quiet place. External, no outside noise, no distractions, quiet. Now internal is quieting the mind, right? Do you ever wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and your mind starts running about all the things you got to do this week, and you get wound up in that, and it's hard to get back to sleep? So maybe quieting the mind is a little more difficult. I can find a quiet spot, but to quiet my mind. Solitude is you're alone with God and with your own soul. Henry Nouwen, a renowned theologian, author, said, without solitude, it is virtually impossible to live a spiritual life. We do not take the spiritual life seriously if we do not set aside some time to be with God and to listen to God. Henry Nouwen actually asked Mother Teresa, says, how do you follow Jesus? And this is what Mother Teresa said. She says, well, when you spend 1 hour a day adoring your Lord and never do anything which you know is wrong, you'll be fine. And then that part of, limiting hurry and having time for silence and solitude is to trust that God will take care of us. Yeah, we're supposed to be gainfully employed and take care of ourselves, our families. But again, not too much, right? We don't want to be trying to do too many things that we have in a hurry. So we got two options, right? Option one, we can neglect this practice, make excuses, get pulled into the rat race, face emotional unhealth and at best spiritual oblivion at worst. Or B, we can recapture this ancient yet timely practice and experience the life of Jesus. Take on the lifestyle of Jesus. Take time to be in silence and solitude. Silence the outside noise, silence the internal noise. Just be with God, our Creator. We're created in God's image. So it's a commit to taking some time of silence and solitude. Each day, the next morning, and the next, and the next. Be still and know that I am God. Hope you'll come join us on Sunday mornings at 9 for our contemporary service and 11 for our more traditional service. We'd love to have you join us either in person or on Facebook Live and YouTube. Take some time in silence and solitude today. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.